For a century, this stuff, oil, it's what made the world go round. We called it black gold. It drew the maps, it forged alliances, it fueled entire economies, and yeah, it started wars. You see, power wasn't just about armies, it was measured in barrels per day. The flow of this single resource could literally build an empire, or watch it crumble to dust. The entire 20th century was written in its sticky, dark ink. But that whole era, well, it's over. The age of oil is fading into the rearview mirror, and a new resource, something far more powerful, now sits on the throne. Because today, the most valuable resource on Earth isn't something you drill from the ground. Nope. It's etched onto these tiny, almost magical wafers of silicon. The new oil is computing power, and the new world order it's creating just got a name. Okay, so let's set the scene. The entire geopolitical landscape might have just shifted right under our feet. Today is February 20th, 2026, and a truly historic moment just took place in New Delhi. In a move that could very well define the rest of this decade, India has officially joined the US-led Pax Silica declaration. Now, this is way more than just another trade deal. This is a massive, coordinated play to control the single most critical technology of our future. We're talking about artificial intelligence and the semiconductors that power it. It is a tectonic shift designed to forge an unbreakable alliance between the world's oldest democracy and its largest, and it's aimed squarely at countering China. You could even call it Washington's checkmate move. Stay till the end because some shocking things I am going to reveal in this video. Let's get back to the video. So, in this explainer, we're going to go deep. We're going to break down what this silicon piece really means. We'll unpack the deal, we'll look at the enormous risks, and we'll explore what our world could look like just 5 years from now. This is a huge, huge story, so let's get right into it. All right, let's dive right in. For years, you've probably heard this phrase, right? Data is the new oil. Well, it turns out that was only half the story. Because you see, data is useless without the power to process it. And that power comes from semiconductors, from chips. Today, that idea just graduated from a catchy buzzword to a binding international treaty. So at its heart, the Pax Silica Declaration is a strategic technology alliance. The stated goals look straightforward: secure the supply of chips, work together on next-gen AI, and, here's the kicker, reduce technological dependence on China. Let's be real. In the world of diplomacy, that's code for cutting them out of the loop. This is Washington admitting it needs a powerful partner to win the 21st century tech race. A partner with the scale, the talent, and the right strategic position to counter Beijing. And that partner is India. But let's talk about the name itself for a second. Pax Silica. Trust me, that wasn't just pulled out of a hat. It is a massive statement of ambition. It's about a whole new kind of global order. By coining this term, the people who wrote this deal are making a really bold and frankly a profound declaration. They are saying that the future stability of the entire world won't just be guaranteed by aircraft carriers and dollars, but by who controls the silicon wafers that run everything, from your phone to hypersonic missiles. The message is simple and brutal. Whoever controls the chip controls the future. And this really puts the sheer ambition of it all into historical context. I mean, first we had the Pax Romana, enforced by Roman legions. Then came the Pax Americana, backed by the US military and the almighty dollar. Now they're framing Pax Silica as the next logical chapter, a new kind of peace, enforced by absolute technological supremacy. And look, this isn't just a fancy piece of paper with some signatures. This is a detailed action plan. It sets up massive joint investment funds to build new chip factories or fabs. It creates a streamlined process to transfer sensitive American chip designs to trusted Indian partners, something that was unthinkable just a few years ago. And it establishes a critical minerals alliance to lock down the raw materials for these chips, specifically to break China's current stranglehold. This is nothing less than an attempt to completely re-architect the nervous system of global technology. It is incredibly ambitious, unbelievably expensive, and yeah, extremely risky. But you know, a deal this huge doesn't happen just because of shared ideals. No way. It happens because of cold, hard economics. There was a massive carrot dangled to get this deal signed, and it meant one side had to completely U-turn on a cornerstone of its foreign policy. So what was the secret sauce that made this deal possible? It was a huge concession on trade. For years, the US-India trade relationship has been, let's just say, tense. But now, the US has just slashed tariffs on Indian goods from 25% all the way down to 18%. It's pure transactional politics. The White House did the math and decided that the long-term strategic threat of China dominating AI was a much bigger problem than the short-term economic hit from cheaper Indian imports. And for India, this is just a colossal win. The tariff cut is the economic engine that's going to power Pax Silica. We're talking about a supersonic boost to their Make in India initiative. This is a giant flashing green light for global corporations to start moving their manufacturing out of China and into India. We could be on the verge of a manufacturing boom in India that rivals what we saw in China back in the early 2000s. All right, so now we get to the elephant in the room, the unspoken target of this entire declaration. Let's not dance around it. Every single clause in this agreement, every dollar being invested, every tariff that's been cut is aimed squarely at one nation, the People's Republic of China. You know, for years, the West has been debating its China strategy. Do we decouple, which is a complete, probably impossible economic separation, or do we de-risk, which is a much weaker strategy of just reducing reliance? Well, Pax Silica carves out a brand new, aggressive middle path. This is the strategic encirclement of China's technological ambitions. It is quite literally the drawing of a new curtain for a new era. Look, Beijing knows its biggest weakness, its Achilles heel, is advanced semiconductors. They still rely on Western tools to make the best chips. The US has already been choking off their access to those tools. But now, with India as a full-blown partner, they're building a completely new parallel supply chain that just bypasses China entirely. In an AI arms race, being stuck with last-generation chips, that's basically a death sentence. It means your AI models train slower, your autonomous weapons are less responsive, your whole economy becomes less efficient. This is the official start of a bipolar tech world. Okay, so on paper, this all sounds pretty locked in, right? A new alliance, a secure tech future, economic booms all around. But we've got to inject a heavy dose of reality here. The road to actually making Pax Silica a reality is paved with massive, and I mean massive, potentially fatal obstacles. First up, the India challenge. And this is a big one. Can it really be done? Building these advanced fabs requires near-perfect infrastructure. We're talking uninterruptible power grids, billions of gallons of ultra-pure water. India has to prove it can deliver this at a scale it's never done before, all while slashing the legendary red tape that can slow projects to a crawl. Second, there's American consistency. This isn't a 4-year plan, this is a multi-decade commitment. But American politics are volatile. Can this alliance survive a future administration that sees the world completely differently? And finally, you have the dragon's wrath. You cannot think for a second that China is just going to take this lying down. We have to expect fierce retaliation, weaponizing their control of rare earth minerals, ramping up cyber espionage, increasing military pressure. The signing today isn't the end of the conflict. It's the start of a much, much more intense phase. So, where does all this leave us? Today, February 20th, 2026, the world pivoted. Pax Silica is a monumental gamble. It's a bet by the US that India is the only partner that can truly counterbalance China. It's a bet by India that tying its future to the West is the fastest way to become a superpower. So let's just try to imagine for a second what our world looks like 5 years from now if this huge gamble actually pays off. If everything goes right, by 2031, we could be living in a world where the tag on your next smartphone, the AI in your car, reads, "Designed in California, manufactured in India." For the Indian economy, it would be a true breakout moment, lifting hundreds of millions of people into the middle class. And for the world, you get what some are calling a Silicon Cold War, a tense but stable bipolar world. Imagine two separate competing tech ecosystems where technological superiority acts as a deterrent, kind of like how nuclear weapons did in the last century. It would be a peace kept alive by mutually assured technological deterrence. Or it could all just fall apart, leaving a huge vacuum that China would absolutely rush to fill. Only time is going to tell. But one thing is for sure, the battle lines for the 21st century have now been drawn, and they are etched in silicon. So the real question for all of us is this: was this a masterstroke of statecraft or a monumental mistake? So what do you think? Can India truly pull this off and replace China as the world's tech factory? I really want to know your thoughts down in the comments. If you found this explainer helpful, please consider liking and subscribing for more deep dives into the huge stories that are shaping our world. Thanks for joining me.